Hello and welcome back to Winding Paths, where we explore women's unique and interesting career paths. Today, we'll be exploring how problem-solving skills can support your career growth. I invited Maheen Memon, Director of Customer Success at Nulogy, a Toronto-based tech company, to share her career journey and some tips with us today. Welcome, Maheen.
I'm really excited to be part of this today.
Well, Maheen, you started your career in industrial engineering at UPS, then you moved into the world of supply chain and capacity planning with the Bay and Walmart, and now you head up customer success at Nulogy, a software company focused on optimizing end-to-end contract packaging operations for consumer goods manufacturers. That's quite a mouthful, I'm not gonna lie. Looking back at your career, what have been the skills that served you the most in each of these very, very diverse and interesting roles?
So I started off in my career in engineering. I went to engineering school, and I think the crux of engineering school is they actually teach you how to do problem solving really well. You're trained to really look at complex problems and actually break it down in a very small subset areas, as well as think of things very analytically. And I guess throughout the course of my career, I've been able to kind of weave this with different parts. When I started my role at UPS years ago, I was actually part of their industrial engineering group, and that really gave me the foundation to really work with different stakeholders internally and understand their needs to make sure we drive efficiencies and drive product problem solving kind of in a proper fashion in a large organization. And I would probably say like my learnings from them really built a foundation of my understanding of supply chain. And supply chain is very, very vast, right? We're talking about from moving boxes from one part of the world to another part, like looking at transportation, logistics, warehouse management. There's different components, and really the problem solving aspect within my career has made me able to work in different organizations and tackle their problems in a more efficient and sort of holistic fashion. So yeah, I probably say the technical learnings I've learned in my industrial engineering background working at UPS, Hudson Bay and Walmart really helped me build a foundation of jumping into kind of a customer-oriented role at Nulogy, where I'm helping customers solve their problems using our solution. So it's been very, very instrumental because I think listening and kind of understanding people's needs come very inherent by being kind of a problem solver. And then through that, also being adaptable too as well, of understanding that in a flip of a dime, a customer may be super happy, but they may have a problem right away that you need to kind of solve for. So that's kind of what I've learned over the past, I'd probably say about 10 plus years of me working.
Well, you know what I find really interesting is that you have this combination of an engineering degree and a business degree and have worked in engineering, and obviously now you're working in business. Like, how has the exposure to both the technical and the business side kind of impacted your career choices? And I guess my follow-up question to that is, what made you decide to move to the business side versus sticking with engineering, considering we're wanting women in engineering positions? What is it that drove you more towards the business side?
I've always had a fascination with business. I started off my career, as I mentioned, in industrial engineering, and the crux of industrial engineering is really optimizing processes and working with making sure that you have an understanding from a business standpoint, right? And I was lucky enough to join UPS very early on in my career. When I first started my first 5 years, I really wanted to get that technical understanding and build that sort of foundational engineering practices in my career. But there was always a desire in me to kind of be a part of business in a sort of management and leadership capacity. So after 5 years of being at UPS, I decided, hey, you know what? I think it's time to take that next step. And I always wanted to do a master's degree. It was always part of my plan as a career goal that I wanted. And the MBA actually led me to kind of pursue it, just because it does give you a very holistic perspective of how business operates. And I think the process and sort of the technical understanding with engineering was a very good couple to that, because you can kind of go wide on looking at business problems, but also kind of go deep too as well. I'd probably say my day-to-day role right now, I'm very much process focused. If things are repeatable and things are problem issues, I want to make it into a process that can be worthwhile for the rest of my team as well as the rest of the organization to kind of follow. But business school, I think, was a stepping stone. It gave me the right sort of management skills and an understanding of how interdependencies of different departments work together to really drive an outcome within sort of the business that you serve, right? I think to date, a business degree like my MBA was the best career decision I've made, just because it's given me the leg up in where I need to be. I'm still tied to my engineering roots, right? I'm very active with folks within the women in engineering sort of construct. If they need any sort of advice, I always help them out. But I'd probably say my true passion was to get in business later on in my life, and which really worked out.
Well, it really sounds like this whole notion around the problem solving is a bit of a central theme in your career. What is it that you could share with other women on how they could use a problem solving approach to help their career along?
So I would probably say my career advice to women out there, or men as well, is that when you're deciding kind of where to take your career next, look at how it can get to your goal and if it can provide you different options, right? If you're able to pivot into something different, it's a great feeling. And that's the reason why I was able to pivot my career from going into supply chain to tech, because I was able to join a supply chain company in tech, right? I think if I didn't have that, it'd be very hard to kind of join the industry. And now I'm in tech forever, which is pretty awesome. And the fact that my career gave me my decision in the past gave me options to leave me where I'm at, I'm super grateful for.
What are you most excited about? You know, what gets you kind of thrilled these days?
Being part of a tech company is super exciting, and being part of customer success is even more exciting. Like, customer success as an industry is only 10 years old, just over a decade, and we're still evolving as a practice. So it's really cool to be part of an organization that is working in lockstep with a sort of an industry that is growing, right? Like, we're at Nulogy, I'm building practices and sort of ways to work with our customers in very sort of novel ways, which is very exciting. And I get to help people every day, right? My impact is just beyond just my day-to-day, and to really make a difference in someone's business. I think for me, that's what keeps me up and keeps me going every day, is the fact that with customer success being the forefront of my day-to-day, I really get to make people successful around me, whether it's my customers, whether it's my team, or whether it's my organization. And that's what I'm really excited about.
Well, Maheen, thank you so much for sharing your insights today and letting us take a little peek at your career journey and how problem solving has really helped you make some really important decisions along the way. Thanks for joining us on Winding Paths today.
Thank you for having me.